In the heart of Australia's cities, there is a story waiting to be told. One of connection, culture, and history. From the diplomatic ties that stretch back decades,
I enjoy the food, I enjoy the people, and I enjoy our history.
to the vibrant food and music scenes that continue to thrive today.
I just hope that everyone will give Indonesian food a chance. I guarantee that once you try our food, they will love it.
We delved into the ways Indonesian culture has woven itself into the fabric of our cities.
Being the closest neighbor, we share a lot of things.
Join us on this journey across Australia as we uncover the rich Indonesian influences.
The money is called rupiah in northeast Arnhem Land, so the Indonesian influence has been there.
And meet people who bring Indonesian culture to life. This is Indonesia Down Under. Welcome to Melbourne, the cultural capital city in Australia. As someone who's lived here for 15 years, what I love most about this city is the chance to experience performances from so many different cultures. And today, I'm especially excited, the Croc Stand, because I'm on my way to see a band from my home country, Indonesia, the first hijabi rock band, voice of Baceprot. Let's go check them out. It's the band's first performance in Australia.
A bit nervous because it's our very first time in Australia, but also excited and proud, of course.
Do you find similarities between Australian people and Sundanese people, like from West Java?
Usually smile. Like,
Really?
yeah. Somea. Yeah, we call it somea.
Somel is like very friendly.
Yeah. So humble.
How do you feel seeing a hijabi on stage performing rock band?
Incredible. They were amazing. They had so much energy, and it was just like, as a woman as well, it was like, yeah. It was sorry, sorry. Heck yeah!
I think it was very unique, and I'm glad to see that level of representation. It was very energizing. It was such an awesome set.
I thought they were all top-level performers, and I would love to go to Indonesia to see them live in their element as well and visit their home country.
I didn't know there was like a massive metal scene at all.
Nearly 100,000 Indonesian-born people call Australia home, and many of them are passionately promoting their rich cultural heritage through vibrant music and dance groups. One such group is Yarra Irama, also known as the Rhythm of Yarra, which brings the lively sound of dangdut music to the community. I had the pleasure of meeting Michael Raditya, the founder of the band, who has dedicated over a decade to researching dangdut music.
Because dangdut is truly Indonesia, and we can celebrate the daily lives from dangdut music. We can dance, we can sing, we can just forget the problems.
Michael even taught me some lively dangdut dance moves.
Like this? Yep. Just like this?
Yep.
We are now heading to a studio where the band is gearing up for practice, featuring a diverse mix of both Australian and Indonesian members.
Why you are interested in dangdut music?
The music is fun, right? And people, this is a great live music city, and people come and have a good time, and we play dancing music, and people go crazy and have a dance. And we've been really lucky to have a mix of people in our audience. We've had Australian people and Indonesian people.
And there you have it, dangdut truly bringing together a celebration of cultures. Melbourne is renowned for its vibrant coffee culture, and I cannot help but wonder if there is a coffee shop here inspired by Indonesia. After all, Indonesia is one of the world's largest coffee producers.
Because there is like a small little coffee shop there. It's called Warung Kopi, which is it's very common in Indonesia. Warung also means like a small shop or stall. So let's find out.
The thought behind it was like, obviously we want to introduce it in a form that food that can be sort of eaten every day by Australian. Out of the menu, you can see the palm sugar iced coffee. That's a very kind of Indonesian way of drinking iced coffee, and it's selling really well.
Melbourne might have its coffee, but when it comes to Indonesian food in Australia, there's one city you can't miss: Sydney. It's here, in these vibrant streets, that Indonesia's flavors, colors, and traditions come alive in every dish.
From beef rendang to crunchy martabaks and tasty empempe, Sydney has Indonesian restaurants from all over the archipelago.
One of the standout personalities in Sydney's Indonesian food scene is content creator Nick Molodysky. I'm catching up with him at an Indonesian grocer in Kingsford. Nick is known for his love and exploration of Indonesian cuisine and culture. Based in Sydney, his content is all about showcasing and introducing the richness of Indonesian flavors.
Originally, when I first started making content about 10 years ago, there weren't that many Indonesian people here cooking like jajanan pasar. Started sharing those and also finding ingredients for Indonesians in Sydney because it's not that easy.
What do you hope people take away from your content?
Two things. There's a lot of different types of Indonesian food, and also Indonesian food for the most part is quite healthy. I work in the health industry and I think that there are a lot of really good options that people should try to lead a healthy life.
That said, he notes there are still misconceptions about Indonesian food in Australia.
That it's all really, really spicy. I think like you guys can eat like a whole tablespoon, maybe we need half a teaspoon, but we still like it.
Talking about food with Nick has made me quite hungry. Luckily, right outside is the famous food street of Anzac Parade. This street is well known for its wide variety of restaurants, including plenty of Indonesian options. To explore the offerings here, we are starting off with an appetizer. We're trying deep-fried Indonesian fish cakes, also known as empe-empe. Empe-empe is made out of Spanish mackerel and tapioca flour. It's served with chuko, a sauce made out of palm sugar, garlic, and chili paste.
We can tell that a lot of curiosity on their face, and then after they order and then they try Indonesian fish cake, they just love it.
Next on our list is dishes from West Sumatra, or Padang cuisine. Padang cuisine is famous for its use of coconut milk and chili. It's one of the most popular types of cuisine in Indonesia.
Say an Australian comes here and they want to try out your dishes. Which would you recommend?
The beef rendang. This one, lamb curry, always come with the bone. It's very popular. This one, jackfruit. Young jackfruit.
Yes.
It's very mild. And you like the salty fish, Perry?
Yeah.
It's better melon. Very nice.
Okay, cool. Let's try it out.
And guess what are we trying for dessert? We are going to have Indonesian sweet pancakes, martabak. The owner even let me try my hand at making my own martabak.
First step that we have to do is to spread the butter all over. Hopefully, I'm doing this correctly.
I put lots and lots of them.
Oh, lots of butter.
Peanuts.
Peanuts? Yeah, cool. Let's get the cheese. And then the last step is?
The last one is the condensed milk.
Oh, sweet condensed milk.
You just pour on top.
Nice.
Ta-da! 3-course meal from 3 different restaurants. Whilst I had fun going behind the scenes to see how different Indonesian restaurants serve their food, there's one restaurant in particular that I knew I had to visit. It's a restaurant that started as a small takeaway shop in 1984. They say all roads lead to Rome, but when it comes to Indonesian cuisine in Australia, it leads to Java.
And how old are you right now?
I'm 80 years old.
Wawan learned to cook at a young age, as her family used to prepare meals for the local church. Today, she is cooking one of her most popular dishes, the JFC, Javanese fried chicken.
I don't understand why they like it so much. Depend on their taste. Use the fresh one and the fresh ingredients, so they like it very much.
Wawan has been cooking at Java for the last 40 years.
So how long will you be cooking?
I don't know, depend on God times. I never know. When God says stop, I will stop.
You don't want to stop cooking though?
No, I still can, because I never tired. I always like to do it, make me happy. Just think about day by day, don't think another thing, just make you happy and do it, whatever you have to do. Yeah, 40 years.
It's a long old recipe, yeah?
Yeah.
Indonesia is one of Australia's closest neighbors. And like any neighbors, we don't always see eye to eye. The relationship reached a low point after East Timor gained independence from Indonesia in 1999. There was also a time when Australia banned live cattle exports to Indonesia over concerns about animal welfare. And let's not forget the incident where Australia attempted to tap the phones of Indonesia's president, his wife, and top officials. But despite these challenges, we have also shared countless moments of solidarity, like coming together during the Bali bombings and in the aftermath of the tsunami and earthquake that struck Indonesia. So, given these ups and downs, what is the current state of the bilateral relationship? There is one place to find out: Canberra. And who better to ask than the foreign minister?
This is on Yarra.
Yeah, you might need to make it solid. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Responsible for shaping and implementing Australia's foreign policy, Penny Wong says she has always had a special connection to the region.
I was born in Malaysia. I love Southeast Asia. I've holidayed in Indonesia. I enjoy the food, I enjoy the people, and I enjoy our history.
If there is one thing from Australia that we can learn from Indonesia, what it would be?
Bahasa Indonesia.
Bahasa Indonesia?
Yeah, more of us should speak Indonesian.
Actually, there is also one problem I would say that I would like to ask you. There's been a decrease in interest of learning Bahasa Indonesia.
Well, it's going the wrong way. So I'd say to Australians, just get out and learn the languages of the region. Bahasa Indonesia is so important to us. It always has been, it always will be. We understand that. It's part of our region, it's part of our history, it's part of our future. I think there are differences and sometimes, there are disagreements. And we also always have to engage and talk and be curious to understand, why is this sensitive for you? Why is this sensitive for me?
I went to the Indonesian embassy to see if the feeling is mutual. I met with Siswo Pramono, the Indonesian ambassador to Australia, who once studied here.
Yes. And now you become the ambassador. How does it feel?
In Indonesia, we have the term pulang kampung, so back to the old village.
Has it been challenging for you as an Indonesian ambassador here in Australia?
Yes, quite challenging. That we are very close, but in terms of knowledge, we are not that close.
He says there is still much work to be done.
My job is to educate Indonesia that, hello, there is a big island in the south called Australia, and Australia also need to educate the public here that we have a very nice archipelago in the south. It's not only Bali.
The fact that in terms of trading, Australia and Indonesia, we are not doing really well.
To make Indonesia more visible to the Australian, we need to do more action, right? Investment is very important, but Australia investing more to UK, Europe, North America, rather than to Asia. Because the future of Australia lays in Southeast Asia. No, how can you understand a region if we don't even understand the language of the regions?
After some deep conversations, I made my way to my friend's place for lunch.
Afi, how are you?
Afi has cooked a big Indonesian meal today and invited some friends over. As I enjoy this delicious meal with her guests, others on the table share there is a lot of potential for growth in our bilateral relationship.
As geostrategic tensions rise in our region,
For Australia, having a friend like Indonesia, a close friend, is increasingly important. So there's a big push in recent years to try and deepen the bilateral relationship through investment, for example. And I think we can look at that as a sort of Australia's attempt to sort of catch up a little bit and compete with the levels of investment coming in from China into Indonesia. So,
They also believe the key to foster better understanding between the two countries lies in promoting the study of Bahasa Indonesia in Australia.
In particular, language study, I think, is something that we could really be investing a lot more in particular in schools and high schools and colleges. And that really helps underpin great education and interest in Indonesia.
Now it's time to head to Perth. The city with one of the largest Indonesian communities in Australia. Perth is home to over 15,000 Indonesians, and I'm here to meet the vibrant Indonesian community up close. We're meeting the Chinese Indonesian community in Perth. It's my first time meeting them, but it already feels like home. They even let me try playing the traditional Indonesian instrument, the angklung, even though I didn't quite know how to hold it at first. And they even invited me to join in on the dance. But beyond the fun and games, the community members carry the weight of trauma from many years ago.
I migrated here in 1997 because I knew already, unfortunately, that the regime would collapse anytime.
Udaya is talking about the 1998 riots in Indonesia, which targeted Chinese Indonesians. Shops owned by Chinese Indonesians were looted and burned. And there were also reports of horrific incidents of violence.
Chinese was blamed for the failure of the economy. So then, the riot happened in Jakarta, and that was sad. I was angry.
Like Udaya, many Chinese Indonesians found refuge in Perth. They wanted to bury their identities as Indonesians, but Udaya keeps advocating against that.
I'm slowly giving them confidence. Don't blame the country, don't blame the people, blame the regime and the situation.
Jessica Crook, who is researching the Chinese Indonesian community, says Chinese Indonesians chose Perth for its large Chinese diaspora community.
So having those existing connections would also assist with helping people kind of move over and feel like they can be a part of this kind of broader and very diverse kind of ethnic Chinese diasporas.
Due to its proximity, many Indonesians choose Perth over other cities, and many have taken up the role of supporting the community as new migrants continue to arrive. This is Ade Skaf, who's been helping Indonesians in need for 28 years.
Sedang menengok sahabat kita, Pak Franky Budiman. Beliau sedang sakit ya Pak. Saya ingin mengetuk hati semuanya bisa bersama-sama meringankan beban saudara.
Saya mencari gap-gap mana yang belum diambil oleh organisasi masyarakat yang lain, tetapi saya rasa sangat penting karena memang tidak ada yang senang ya kalau ngomongin soal nasib jelek, kematian atau apa. So I have to start somewhere.
Ade says the allure of a better life is compelling, and unfortunately, some individuals find themselves overstaying their visas, often driven by desperation.
Dengan visa yang sudah expired, tentu saja mereka tidak punya hak apa-apa di sini. Kalau mereka misalnya sakit aja kan tidak punya Medicare, gitu. Jadi biasanya orang yang tidak punya visa itu punya ketakutan. Jadi mereka itu akan sangat sulit terbuka.
Ade reminds me how Indonesia is known for its gotong royong or cooperative spirit, and hopes Australians can see that reflected in her actions.
Mungkin saja orang Perth ini, misalnya ada yang belum ke Indonesia, mereka mungkin akan melihat Indonesia itu dari kelakuan, dari perilaku Anda sehari-hari. So, if you are Indonesian, then be Indonesia, be yourself. And karena mereka akan sangat tertarik ya.
Speaking about being Indonesian, did you know the name of the street in Clarkson is Indonesian? You always go through Makassar Way, but do you know what it means?
I apologise, I don't know what it means. I've wondered, actually.
So, what exactly is Makassar, and why would a place in Australia be named after it? The answer lies a few thousand kilometers away along Australia's north coast.
You ready for Darwin?
Long before the British colonized the lands and waters now known as Australia, from at least 1700 until 1907, hundreds of fishermen sailed each year from Makassar in Indonesia to the northern Australian coast, an area called Marege. As one of the Northern Territory's closest neighbors, Indonesia has enjoyed a unique bond with its residents over centuries, be it from a trade or social perspective. And there are traces of that relationship still found in everyday places here in the top end. As I learned when I visited Mark Motlop on Larakia land. Mark, raised in the Northern Territory, was born to a Larakia mother and a Torres Strait Islander father. At his home in Darwin, he showed us his expertise in making sambal belacan, a chili sauce that is now become a staple across Australia's far north.
Can be a real touchy subject sometimes. Like people, you never tell people in Darwin his or her belacan's better than yours, otherwise it's World War III.
Belacan or belacan or terasi in bahasa Indonesia is a fermented paste made from finely crushed shrimp or krill mixed with salt.
I woke up one morning with this terrible smell in the house and my father was cooking this. But as I grew and he cooked, the more he cooked it, the more I got used to the smell and the taste.
But the smell doesn't scare me.
Want to try it?
Yes, why not?
And then just get a bit of giblet out. So you cook that.
Oh, it's even better.
In Darwin, people have enjoyed belacan for generations now. This unique shrimp paste is just one of the many things introduced by the seafarers from Indonesia.
If you have a look across the top of Northern Territory, even parts of WA and Queensland, you got tamarind trees. Where they come from? The Macassans. The Indonesian influence has been there, and particularly as a seafarer, they used to travel through the waters, through the Torres Strait, and that's where all our food and influence come from.
The Makassan Marege story that ties Indonesia and Australia has been the subject of research by both countries in recent years.
Even though that story has been told outside of Darwin, mostly, a lot of people here know it, but over there it still is something that part of Australian history that needs to be told.
Art historian and curator Petrit Abasi is the director of the Northern Centre for Contemporary Art Australia. He recently curated an exhibition titled Trepang that showcases works highlighting the intertwined legacies of First Nations people and Indonesians. That afternoon, he drove us down to the beach in Darwin.
There's a high chance of stingers.
Stingers,
jellyfish, and crocodile. There's more crocodiles now. But in the dry season, it's rare to have a crocodile, so we go swimming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He shared his thoughts on the uniqueness of Australia's relationship with Asia.
A lot of people say that Northern Australia is really, in many ways, much more part of Asia than Southern Australia. That is not just in a geographic sense, but often in cultural sense. And the fact that just in the Yolngu Mata language, there are 350 words that are borrowed from Indonesian or from Makassar. It's a sign that there were people on these northern coastline shores that were speaking Indonesian. As well as the tamarind trees, there were lots of wells for fresh water. So there are hundreds of wells along the islands.
My trip in Darwin ended at the Museum and Art Gallery of the Northern Territory.
This was created it's early to mid-20th century.
Where the archaeological evidence of the long relationship between Australia and Indonesia is on display. While this may be where the relationship started, it's not where it ends.
From every corner of Australia, we found unique bonds between these two countries, some old, some new.
But all a celebration of culture and friendship.
Thank you for joining us here as we write the next chapter of Indonesia Down Under.
My friend, and we are from Indonesia actually. Yes.
Well, obviously this is my take on our.
So how has Indonesia?
Fun fact, I've tried making martabak at home before. Wasn't the prettiest thing ever. That's best.
You have to be busy for letting us.
Selamat ulang tahun, Erwin.
Thank you. It is my birthday.